Tremble, fearful mortals, for the midnight hour chimes. Ancient battlefields echo to the clatter of bleached bones and rusted armor as the dead rise once more. Plague pits and shallow graves heave as maggot-eaten fingers tear aside the loose topsoil. The baying of lifeless wolves chills mortal souls to the core. Corruptorine horrors spill from tumble-down belfairs as a shrieking cloud bloated from a diet of fresh gore. Yet all these fiends pale in comparison to the masters of the revenant host, the Soulblight vampires. These deathless warlords bear both the mightiest of powers and the most dreadful of curses. By their will can the necromantic arts be harnessed to bring hordes of undead warriors lurching to their feet. With a single blow can they tear through armor, flesh, and bone to rip out the vital organs beneath. But to maintain their monstrous existence, a vampire must slate their endless thirst for blood of the living. The beast within is demanding indeed, and behind the porcelain facade of humanity, vampires are ravenous horrors who would plunge the realms into endless, abominable night. The Soulblight vampires consider themselves destined to rule. In this, they reflect he whose malignant power sired them, Nagash, supreme lord of the undead. From bleak Nagashazar he commands his Gravelords to march forth, bringing the curse of undeath to every corner of the realms. In the darkness of his necrotopia shall vampires feast as never before, mortals reduced to cowering slaves, fit only to be drained of blood. So it is the Soulblight aristocracy makes war on the living with relentless fervor, their corpse host reinforced with the bodies of those same bold warriors who once defied them. So be afraid, mortals, and clutch thy blessed trinkets close, for night draws in, and the Soulblight Gravelords come for thee. The Gravelords are vampiric warlords with unhuman strength, speed, and resilience. They also have the charisma and charm to sway the most stubborn of person to their side. They're not like the vampires of the Flesh-Eater courts, whose nobility and grace are only within their madness. No, these vampires are far from gibberish spewing ghouls. They are the cold image of royalty and nobility. But behind that image hides the darkness within. They possess a monstrous nature, one of feeding and destruction with near immortality. Say, should one be able to defeat and slay a vampire warlord in battle, more often than not, it will rise again and deal out destruction and vengeance upon the one who, quote-unquote, slayed it. While fearsome on physical prowess alone, vampires possess a well of necromantic power that can be unleashed upon the battlefield, raising a skeleton legion from shallow graves that formed from battles long forgotten to overwhelm and destroy their enemies, and then raising the recently fallen to have them turn upon their once friends, allies, and city they defended. Vampires are not natural creatures. They came from those who sought to copy Nagash's ambitions and fell short. Neferata took Nagash's writing on necromancy back in the world that was. Being such an ambitious queen, she sought to ascend to lichdom like Nagash, but didn't fully succeed. While she got immortality, she was now cursed with the need to feed off other living creatures' blood, or she would wither away and face a final death. But vampires have come far since then and persist in the mortal realms. Not all vampires are evil things. There are many of them that are able to control their bloodlust and live within many different societies, hidden and seemingly normal. Even in societies where they can openly show what they are, displays of compassion, empathy, and love have been seen from vampires. However, These are rare, and the majority see the living as nothing more than sweet delicacies to be gorged upon at their leisure. As bloodlines grew, the vampire's inherent independent nature created highly divergent cultures. Some sought to connect with the beast within, others looked to deepen their command of necromancy, or some looked for some other alteration altogether. This gave birth to the dynasties. While Neferata and Manfred are the top vampires with legions of undead at their command, they cannot be everywhere at once. So vampiric major domos and lordlings are charged with fulfilling their master's agendas. Sometimes a Mortarch will take control of a lesser dynasty to use their skills in war, or to make an undeniable gesture of dominance. Rarely are they refuted. However, the Mortarchs often allow the masters of the dynasty to retain normal joint command, for either better cementing the alliance or to pull the strings and manipulate the lordling. Under the Legion stands the dynasties, where each stem from a single vampire patriarch or matriarch. Some dynasties are a close group where the blood kiss is only given with express permission. Others are more free with bestowing the kiss to others and seek to sire as many offspring as possible with the hope some will resist the bestial nature within. Much like those of the free city nobles, each dynasty has their own traditions, heraldry, bitter rivalries, and gossip. Many of these are defined by the magical curse of vampirism and the effects the realms they live have on it. This is just the general vampire information that we get about the Gravelords. As we get into the legions, like the Legion of Blood and the Legion of Night, we will see the different views and tactics they take and what they focus on. And then when we get into the dynasties, we can see how each dynasty has branched away from these original two vampires. Not counting Ashoron, of course, because we know that's the Flesh Eaters, and they are vastly different and not of the same caliber as these refined and noble vampires that we see now. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought and what you want to hear about next. This is Takeover Mars. Have a good one.